This won't be boring. Hopefully not. All right, thermal imaging. You guys can all see me in that camera, correct? I should be orange, red, and yellow above the mask. So really what we're looking for here, everything around me is blue and black. So we're looking for that blue and black to move on its own. So the blue and black, when you take me out of the picture, like obviously everything's gonna fluctuate based on whatever's inside that camera. Okay, so really what we're looking for is one of those blue or black spots to just start moving on its own, hopefully over an orange or yellow piece that's actually inside the screen. So with that being said, who's the most excited about this guy?
I think Charlie.
Charlie.
We got really excited.
I've seen some finger pointing over here too.
Oh, nice.
All right, so we're gonna go with Charlie on this guy. So you're gonna hold that horizontal all night long. Do you see the red square on the left-hand side of your screen?
Yeah.
That means it's recording.
Okay.
So if it turns to a circle, you're the jerk because now I got to splice video together and it takes way longer to do. So
Okay.
try not to hit the red square. Do your best.
Okay.
I'm just teasing you, of course. I'm just making jokes. I'm not gonna like we're gonna have some
Don't
fun.
say anything
this is a lot
stupid,
different.
Charlie.
And like it's really warm.
And we're gonna, like, this is a quick intro to all of the devices. The first place we go to, guys, is Haunted. There's just not a big, long history there. So it's kind of a great place for me to bounce around with you guys and show you a little bit more tactics of how to use your devices. So because you guys were kind of let down with the FLIR thermal imaging, I'm gonna throw my favorite device your way. How about that? So we have 3 different types of spirit boxes we're going to be using tonight. The
Kind
first,
of what?
Spirit boxes.
Oh, beer box. Okay.
So Spirit Box basically sweeps through FM radio stations at a very quick rate. Your TV shows, you guys watch that? Yes?
Oh, yeah, big time.
Okay,
Yep.
so most of it. So that's the annoying static, and then Zach Bagans tells you what he thinks he heard, and it has nothing to do with what you actually heard, kind of
Yeah.
thing. So that's what these are. Mine are slowed down. It's not just white noise. I want the radio chatter to come through. You guys aren't used to listening to this on a long period of time. I want the DJs, the song lyrics, and the commercials to come through. So that said, whatever we hear and that we can make out, it's a 50-50 shot. I could probably relate it to the place of where we are. So the cool thing about this one in particular is that it doesn't record any outside noise. It'll only record the entire radio sweep only. So even when it's on mute. So I'm going to set it up to record. Max, was it?
Yeah.
So Max, you are going to be my guy on this.
Oh, okay.
So
Ready?
I'm going to...
You got it, Max.
So,
We have faith in
Go
you.
Max. Go Max.
So, Max, if they call your name, don't freak out and drop that thing.
So I normally put 2 sets of ears on each spirit box. So choose your partner.
I'll be his partner.
There we go. Perfect. Volunteering.
Well, I didn't want to break up the love burst over here.
One button to worry about. It's not the one that clicks. It's the one that turns. So we will control the volume, and you guys will be listening together.
Charlie
and I'll be
Clyde.
teaching you how to use the spirit box. It's not literally just is somebody here. We're going to talk about all that kind of stuff later. All right. What do we want to go to next? Let's go back to the thermal imaging because I am not going to make anything up for you guys. I am not Zach Bagans, in case you guys haven't noticed. And I don't like to make things up and say demons are around us and all that mess and start punching walls and show off muscles that I don't have. So,
It's you.
so we have to debunk. I'm losing names already.
Charlie?
Charlie.
Charlie.
Yep.
We're going to debunk what Charlie finds. Okay, so
Amanda?
yes, but I'm guessing, are you
Oh.
two together? Like, what's the dynamic here? Like, Charlie, choose your partner. Okay, so Amanda, you're gonna help
I'm
us out.
sorry.
Okay, I can do
We all
that.
know what this guy is by now, right? Okay, it's an
I'm gonna
infrared,
take
it's
everyone's
surface
COVID
temperature
temperature.
only. We don't know what the temperature is between the gun and the red dot. Okay, so that's where this guy comes into play. So what this guy's gonna do, in the event that Charlie says, hey Nick, there is a blue spot on this wall and I can't figure out what it is, then we're gonna obviously check the wall first to make sure it's the same temperature all the way across.
Got it.
And then if it is the same temperature, we now know that that blue spot is between Charlie and the wall. Does that make sense?
Oh.
So I'm going to use the probe here at the end, and we're going to kind of move it back and forth and find out where that cold spot is. This guy isn't as active. You're going to be more using this
The gun.
particular one. Right.
Okay.
Give him the gun.
I'm gonna get close to the ghost. You only have to record them.
Good.
I'm
Good.
sacrificing myself.
Let's see how warm are you, Mike? Stand there. How warm are I? 80. 86.
Ooh,
That
I
one
think
I-
someone has COVID. I'm just kidding.
89.
Back to spirit boxes. They're way more fun, right? So this one does the exact same thing that Max's does, but it doesn't record. So I always, for sure, put 2 people on this. So guess who I'm putting on this one?
Wow.
You're looking right at us.
I honestly just wanted you 2 to speak.
The whole gambit there. That was it.
Oh, he really
Sorry,
won.
this one is a little dark, right?
Like that little crosshair with the temperature.
Wait, show your dad again. I want to like test this out. So his temp
So that's
what do you get?
It's like 87.
is 75.
All right, we're close. What was the thing? Oh, you got something else in your hand, though. What's that thing?
That's in case of something like a spirit like between you and the temperature.
So, you guys, same principle. You control the volume. Your volume button is on top of the speaker. So you are going to turn it to your left and hold it there to turn it up, and then turn it to the right. Obviously, when I'm telling stories, and get it back down again. Okay. It's a little touchy.
Great.
So I normally don't give this to little ones because they have a hard time with it.
Well, we are little.
Well, you know, that's
Alright, so that will go to the 2 view. Obviously, it's already set to sweep, so all you need to do is control the volume.
Yeah, I think so.
Nick, you have a great change on this, how fast it sweeps. You indicated that it
Anybody
I
yet?
have it slowed down. So,
left control somewhere along the top here that we might have to mess with it.
let me see what's up. It's running a little slow.
It was an alien. What movie was that where they had the aliens that pop out of their stomachs like
That's
that?
where I
Was that
want, 'cause you guys,
alien?
again, aren't used to it. So if something does come through,
Okay, these iPhone pictures are getting really good. It like lightens it really well.
Oh, that's good, yeah. Wow.
No, you got it.
This one's your family. I'll let them know.
all right.
All right,
You ready?
let's do it. What do we got?
If you notice, almost everything goes in pairs.
Yes.
So
I'm trying to.
Just touching us.
this is the neuralizer for Men in Black.
Oh my
Nice.
I'm gonna need you all to stare right here. Nick, you're recording everything. Doesn't matter. I don't want you to remember it all the time. This
God.
The disco ball.
right. The cool thing about this guy
Ooh, the
is you
life of
can't
the
see the
party.
lasers from the pen to the ground, right?
Yeah.
Until something passes through it. So really what we're looking for here is something to pass through it at a very quick rate. So
Ooh,
lasers
wow.
get Nick in a lot of trouble. So if lasers go the wrong way, flashing cars, windows, so forth and so on.
Airlines, yeah, stuff.
Yeah, we're not waving anybody down.
Got it.
It's the wrong person.
You're the life of the party there with
Yeah.
that pen.
We'll blast you in the leg. Watch out. How you turn it on?
It's got one button that you have to hold on.
There's one right here, Mike.
That's one button.
I'm a little worried about this next one. This one is red square.
Ooh.
I don't have 2 different types. In the event, can we turn that down just a hair? I feel like I'm
We're
shouting.
trying
People,
to.
people live above up here.
Not anymore.
How did you do that? I think you turned it
All right, so red squares. In the event we capture something that goes right through it, the squares will allow me to put it into 3D software, and you guys will have a full 3D view of what we call it. How cool is that?
Ooh, cool.
So that's actually recording looking down then? Or
It's
we-
not recording anything. We're gonna have somebody with a camera. So Mike,
I got 2. All right.
Bigfoot's on it.
I put both lasers in one hand because I need to know where they're at all times.
Okay.
That way I'm not like, laser, don't be pointing it that way. So you'll see me
Okay.
kind of be school teacher for a while.
Okay.
Hey, I have heard wood knocks before.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
have, yeah. I just sounded like a guy splitting wood to me.
Oh,
We had some guy with some wood knocks in our house one time, pecking a hole in the side of it. We had to get rid of them.
Yeah, I've heard that before.
there you go.
We actually did.
So you are obviously his partner.
Yes.
I don't usually give this to teenagers or anybody younger because they don't know what it is.
Okay.
Oh no.
It is a simple point and shoot camera. There's 2 buttons. It'll turn off from time to time, but really what you're doing, as Mike points his lasers down, you're just going to take some pictures through the lasers. We don't want them pointed down at the lasers. I don't care about the dots on the ground. I want to see the stuff going through it. So really you're just going to be taking pictures as many as you want to, all the way through there.
Okay.
No
2 buttons, on
selfies,
and off,
Marie.
and
No
then the big button to
selfies.
actually take the
Okay.
picture.
Okay.
All right.
All right, now,
Put
You
it
got
down
lots.
on this button here.
told you, party of 10.
This is a ball
I want you to put your hand over the way.
Get a picture of the boarding shoe.
Last but not least, I didn't leave you guys out. So,
Got a lot of equipment
I'm
here.
getting super
I do.
excited
And I got more coming.
Super
I
Wow.
can intermix whatever I want to do. That's the cool thing about this job is I own the business. I can do whatever the hell I want to.
Nice.
So the last spirit box we're going to use is on a phone. So let me tell you about this spirit box as soon as this phone wants to boot up. So the spirit box is going to give us words in the center of the screen from time to time. We don't have to listen for them. They're just going to show up. 80% of this app is absolute BS. Doesn't mean anything. Okay, so it's that 5 to 20%. Then I'm going to be able to give you the whole list, highlight those words that I feel are relevant, and then give you a link of why they're relevant. So it could be something going on with our tour. It could be something going on with the history I'm telling you. It could be something about the building. It could be any of those things. And don't worry, we're going to talk about this building. Like, there's stuff going on. She's already peeking. Y'all see that? So as soon as this thing starts up, I'll fire it up, and it's as simple. All you got to do is hold it and let us know what the words are from time to time. There's a battery pack attached to the back because it's an old phone. It doesn't take a full charge. So
Your hands are gonna get cold.
I'm going to kind of give everybody a gist of what it looks like.
You should have brought gloves.
So it's going to give us a word right there in the middle, and then it's going to save them to a list. My last group had 81 terms. That's a lot. So we're going to clear them out because they already have their terms. We're going to start you guys off fresh. So, Christian over here. Hey, look at that. I remembered a name. I win. 1-0. That's it. Game over. So Christian's going to let us know what these words are from time to time, and if obviously if I'm telling a story and you don't want to interrupt, because you don't seem like you're a very interrupted type guy, just hold it out so we can all see. So again, that's going to go to you.
So
And then, of course,
Steve's
I have something for you,
new
too.
term.
Because you haven't said a peep either, I need you to speak up because this is our first indication of something is actually happening around us. I also want you guys to keep in mind that I don't get excited with one device going off. I need multiples. That's why I look at all this stuff in the morning. So this EMF meter measures 3 different types of electromagnetic fields. They never explain this on TV. They just, oh, it did something. It did something,
Yep.
right? We're not going to do that tonight. So the first one is natural. It's not doing anything. That's why it's just green. The next one's going to be from electronic devices. But Nick, you just handed us all electronic devices. It literally has to be touching it, like literally this close. A cell phone that close would have to be able to be on top of it.
Yeah. Oh!
See my point? So parking meters, electrical wires, cell phones, that kind of stuff touching it. And even our parking meters, our ley lines are underneath the street here. So it's going to make it go off. And I'll kind of warn you and debunk it ahead of time. But really what we're looking for is this thing to go nuts. If it starts going nuts and I can't see a rhythm out of it, a rhythm is usually a man-made object because that's something that we created, right? Anything going nuts, that's where you got to speak up. Yeah, I'm going to make you talk tonight. I'm going to make you all interact with me. So, you know what the irony thing about this whole thing is? You guys paid me and I just put you all to work.
That's a good deal.
I know, right? Best job in the
Smart
whole
business.
world. So the funny thing is I used to use some of these apps on my phone, but I find that it's way more interesting if I get to just tell the stories and then tell you guys like what's going on with your devices and as you guys work together as teams. So,
All right.
questions, comments, concerns so far? I know, it's a lot.
Do you have a device?
No, I'm going to be bouncing around with all of you.
I just want to make sure. I didn't know if there's a hidden one in the back.
No, that one's coming too, but that's kind of an all-in-one.
Sorry.
So
So
there you go.
it's going to have like 5 different readouts on it of things that you guys all have individually.
Gotcha.
So that way I can kind of either debunk things or see what's actually happening.
Okay.
So that one's on its way.
So, ghost hunting.
All right, so we start here because it's haunted. Of course we do. So this place used to be called Big John's, and none of you are from here, so I can lie to you guys all night long. Awesome. I will never do that to you. My gimmick is honesty, I promise. Said the liar. No. So, told y'all, I got jokes. So this place used to be called Big John's. Big John was a football player for the 1947 New York Giants. I'm not a football guy. Kind of had to memorize some of this stuff to tell you guys. So, Big John used to sit in the back of the bar. We have the Citadel nearby. It's about 1.5 miles, 2 miles from here. So they used to come over, the cadets did, after training, and Big John knew all of them. So he would be able to tell the bartender if they were of age or not to drink. One night, 2 guys come in, they're not old enough. Big John tells the bartender, get them the hell out of here. So they leave, pretty mad. They come back the next night and try to steal the cash register from the front of the bar. Big John sees what's going on, a little rough and tumble on the floor. They're beating the hell out of each other. All of a sudden, a few shots were fired. John gets hit in the neck. He gets up, he goes back to the bartender and he says, get me a beer, get them an ambulance. Remember, Big John's the one that got shot, and nobody died in that story. So what's haunting the place? The bullet hole. It's still here. Holds paranormal activity from Big John, because this was his place. His blood is on that bullet. So, now they're renovating the place. Hopefully it's still there when they're done renovating. I'll have to go in and check. But, at the same time, People that sit in the front of the bar, they get a little dizzy, queasy, nauseous, those kind of things. That's the only place also that I get EMF readings from. So kind of take that for consideration. If any of you feel any of those symptoms, I'm not saying that to scare you because this is not a scary tour. This is literal scientific evidence. Please let me know. Headaches,
Throwing up
queasiness,
in my mask.
any of that stuff. So we will move along pretty quickly. I won't lie, I've had people pass out from too much activity on the tour. I've had people just say, no, my head's pounding, I gotta go. It is what it is. So let's get off of our own health. So, 1886, Charleston had a giant earthquake. It's giant for us because we don't get earthquakes. So 7 point something on the Richter scale.
1850.
So, with that being said, a piece of the mantling fell off during that earthquake in the front of the building, not above where you are now. Everybody goes, really? And we start when we go
We did not look up.
Is there an earthquake happening? Like, seriously? So, but anyway, allegedly that's where the first death occurred from that earthquake. I don't have any verifiable proof. It's just some stories I heard through a tour guide, and it was a great segue to get you guys off the minds of your own health. So, are you guys ready to go ghost hunting?
Yeah.
Yes.
Are you guys tired of hearing me talk yet?
No.
Because I talk a lot.
Perfect.
Great.
Let's go
I'm
this way.
excited.
You guys are fun.
Charlie, you're the cameraman.
Do
You
I-
get all the good.
Do I go in the front or the back though?
I don't know.
What's more important?
We'll mix it up. We'll mix it
Okay, we'll do both. Do both shots.
up. I gotta be next to you because I got the other two. Though.
Oh, you're directing. Yeah, you tell me what to do. I'm just telling the point.
I got the gun.
Yeah. Here's the square.
I love that you're a videographer now.
This is on you.
You got excited about this one.
I mean, yeah, facts.
Yeah. See?
Mm.
Yeah.
All right. I told y'all ghost hunting wasn't pretty. So, there are going to be some sites along the way. The first half of this tour is not part of those sites, just so you guys know. You'll notice my voice changes a little bit over here because this is the big red barn where we keep the horses for our carriage rides. The horses are inside the building, down in the barn end, down on that end. And the windows, there's no glass in there, so they can hear us. Absolutely no lasers along this building. So those of you with lasers, there should be two of you. There'll be
There's
you
one of you. Oh,
and
that's good.
Mike. So absolutely none on the building. So we're going to learn more about each individual device a little bit further. So the only history I have of this building is that this is the same red barn where we kept horses that delivered milk to Charleston. Every time I tell you a story about a building or a location, I will emphasize keywords. Delivery, milk, Charleston. Reason for that is because there's the things that you can listen for during your spirit box sessions. This is going to be a very easy, trainable type thing for this location. The rest of it, I'm not going to give you answers. I'm going to give you weird questions and things to listen for, but I'm not going to tell you what those weird things and answers might actually be. So let's start with those spirit boxes. There's 3 of them out there. Spirit boxes are not, is somebody here? First off, if somebody answers no, that means somebody's still here. They answered you. If they get a real estate commercial coming through an FM radio station and they heard the word houses, they think they heard the word yes, and now they're excited because somebody's here. So S and O in the English phonetic English language are 2 of the most common sounds we have. We're going to stay away from yes and no questions all night long. Okay, so if you're going to do this all on your own later on after we part ways, always stay away from yes and no questions. Watch your TV shows. Count how many times they ask a yes or no question. It's horrible. I laugh every time. My kids laugh every time. Dad, did you see that? Yes, I heard it. Zach Bagans. So anyway, we are going to go after something simple here, something you know the answer to. Okay, we can all agree that the barn is red, correct? Right? It's not purple, green, yellow, or blue. So.
Unless you're colorblind.
Unless you're colorblind, I offended you. I'm so sorry. But I usually give that line, but nobody seemed to mind. So, but at any rate, what color is the barn? You guys are going to turn up your spirit boxes. You're going to ask that question. When you do ask that question and you don't hear an answer after, say, 30 seconds, ask the same question again. What color is the barn? You're going to try 2, 3, maybe 4 tries. Remember, these are ghosts. They're spirits. They don't have the energy that we do that we can actually hear. They're working on a whole different wavelength. Give them time to answer. And we might get the answer 3 locations from now. We don't know. It happens all the time. So, in the event you don't hear an answer within that 2, 3, 4 tries, we're going to open it up a little bit. What's inside the barn? We know that we have horses, correct? We know that they were delivery horses. They deliver milk. But I've also heard words like calcium, protein, eggs, carriage, I've gotten all kinds of things that go along with that. And they're also draft horses. You hear the word draft. Draft likes to come up here often. So, again, we can go after questions of Big John. If somebody's here, give me your name. If you played with Big John, what was your jersey number? Numbers don't lie, right? So I usually go after these kind of numbers and those kind of things. So the spirit boxes, I mean, obviously we're getting a little bit of EMF now. I can see it, a little bit of a blur. But as you guys kind of walk through, now the 2 spirit boxes that have FM stations on them, you guys kind of need to stay separated from each other so you're not getting too, you're not listening to each other. So they're doing it right now, it's funny. But with that said, when you guys are near the end of this, try to keep those spirit boxes so you guys can only hear it. You guys are having a hard time controlling that volume, which is understandable because that speaker is the best I can do. Just try to stay away from that corner where the horses might be. You will spook them. If you wanted a jump scare, go ahead and turn that spirit box off. They will kick that wall and scare the bejesus out of you. So, again, I do have friends in here, so I'm trying to keep things friendly by not spooking horses. I'm going to work with the thermal imaging team, the 2 of you, individually. That way you guys can actually start to explore the lot a little bit. As far as lasers that you guys have in the pictures, you want to keep those lasers pointed down. 2 things you need to remember. They don't really come off the ground, and they absolutely cannot hit a car. Those lasers are strong enough to make a car alarm go off.
Whoa.
That one has a toggle switch.
Oh no, he's not going to find it. There you go.
Going after
And
it.
now with the green and the red, don't cross the streams. You will make yourself dizzy.
Cool.
So
Okay,
just kind of keep them separated. Get us lots of pictures. Let's see if we capture something in between. So the rest of you, I'd say go explore, start asking questions, and then we're going to collaborate in like 5 to 8 minutes and kind of see what we captured. That way everybody gets the gist of what they're doing. The 2 of you, let's go over here.
Okay. Tell me now.
All right, so go ahead and point your camera at the wall and tell me what you see.
Mostly black, a little bit of the red towards the top.
Mainly one color, a little bit of mix of another?
Mostly, yeah.
What happens when my skin gets in the picture?
You come in red and the wall,
Background's
the background changes to a lighter color.
We have a lot of people here. It's going to be very easy to try to keep one of us in view at all times.
Okay.
You want to try to keep our skin as a base because it's the warmest thing out here, especially on a chilly night when it's raining. I am going to show you a video of what what you'll be looking for.
Okay.
So, and then I'm going to do what your true role is.
Okay.
So, you're like, you handed me a bunch of dots. I have no idea what I'm doing with this.
That's okay.
So let me pull the video up here. Sorry, it takes a second. I normally have it ready, but I was running late coming down. Issues with the dogs. They didn't want to go outside because it was raining where I was at.
Oh, okay.
I have many dachshunds, and they don't like the rain at all.
Oh. How many?
2.
Okay.
It's Herb. It's your dog Herb.
So Byron and Emily, my 2 poets.
Oh,
My wife
that's
wants
so
a
cute.
3rd, and I'm like, no, 2 is enough. All right, so this is our next location. Turn this volume down. So what you're looking at here, this orange is a wall. Okay, let me rewind it. So you're going to see 2 living people, don't get excited, above the wall. Do you see their heads right there?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's just kind of a barometer. Let's fast forward. You're going to see 2 dead people going the opposite way. 1.
The dark spots.
The two black heads
Yeah,
that were
yeah.
moving.
Okay.
Compared to
I'll
the
go ahead and play it
red.
again. And there's always a guy in view right here. 1, 2.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so that's legitimate proof. Like, I've sent this to mechanics and firemen of people who actually use that as a tool on their job, and they're like, Nick, you caught some ghosts. And I feel really short next to you guys. I just had to point that out.
I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. But really, that's what you're after. Now, take out the gun for me. Point your gun at the wall, and you point your camera at the wall, and tell me the different temperatures that you guys have.
I have 51.4.
I have 52.4.
Okay, so his is obviously about 1.5 degrees warmer, right? So in the event your temperature starts to fall below hers, that's when you really need to start watching what's going on with the yellow one.
Okay.
So you guys are going to work together as a team. You're going to be shooting different surfaces. I bring you guys here on purpose. We have metal, asphalt, wood, brick, foliage, all kinds of stuff.
Okay.
So with that said, just don't shoot the cars.
Yeah.
You will set the alarms off.
Okay.
I've sent teams running. Come on, guys, we gotta go. But I mean, you're really just going to be working together on a different types of material, so that way you guys can see like what's really happening inside the camera. Because I mean, that thing doesn't see 3-dimensional. It gives him white lines to kind of help him define what's what. But overall, it's a flat surface.
So then, like after we both point at it, then I would take this
Right.
in between.
Exactly.
not touching the object.
So
Just
in
like-
right, and this is just going to measure by the probe up here. There's a probe at the top.
Okay.
So, and by the way, that shuts off by itself. So you like that little bottom button. It's really you just turn it right back on again.
Okay.
You're looking at the bottom number. That's the temperature. The top one is humidity. We don't care about humidity because we know it's raining.
Okay.
So with that kind of mentality, this isn't as active. It's just when we find something, then we have it quick and ready at the ready.
So low is bad. Like when it
Well, low is
commenced
good.
getting-
That's what I want.
Oh.
We want evidence.
Oh, well, no, well, I meant like yeah.
Low
okay.
is good, yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. So let's say
I
you,
said it the wrong way.
let's say you shoot the wall and you have 49 and his says 40.
We
you
got some good
defi-
stuff.
Yes.
We go.
Okay.
And should I be able to see anything on here, or is it just? Because if she's looking between, should I be trying to like point this close?
You would just leave it right where
Just
it's at,
not
so
move
that
it
way
all.
she can find it, and you'll be able to see her hand going like, all right, it's
closer. Yeah.
Just
Right.
guide me.
yeah, just
Okay.
basically, and you'll just stay put. You can also see thermodynamics in reverse. Now this gets a little tricky. So, law of thermodynamics says that temperature has to balance. Okay, if it gets cold here, that means it's warmer somewhere else. So if some kind of spirit or ghost or whatever is drawing energy to create a cold spot, that means it's getting warmer somewhere else. And sometimes we'll catch the warm spot being grown. So if you see something grow in temperature like 5, 10, 15 degrees in like 5 to 10 seconds, we obviously have something going on. I don't want you to go searching where the cold spot might be growing.
Just keep it in the same spot.
Keep it in the same spot. And I've
Okay.
caught it 3 or 4 times in the past year, which is really cool stuff. So when you see something grow in heat, it's like, oh snap, we got something. That means there's something going on nearby. EMF was going off, something. But,
Okay.
but you see where I get, like, I need more than one piece of evidence.
Yeah.
from
To
one
back
tool.
you up, yeah.
So your
Got
TV
it.
shows will usually use one device at a time, which is super annoying.
Yeah.
I throw everything I have at it. I got
Okay.
3 spirit boxes running.
Blast it.
Yep.
Blast it full force.
Give them everything I got.
Okay.
So
So I'm never really pointing at anything in particular. I'm just making sure someone's in the shot and just kind of moving around until I see something
Yeah.
special. Okay.
Yep, that's it.
Perfect.
And you might not see anything, which is
Okay.
perfectly fine. Is that my most active tool? No, but it's at the ready. So it is the coolest looking tool, but it's not my most active. Do you know what I'm
Okay.
saying?
Yeah, I
so I
gotcha.
probably get something questionable on there about once a month or so, depending on how many tours I've done.
Okay.
But again, when it's there, that's you've seen the evidence. That's what I'm looking for. Like, and the reason why those people called me to that corner was because they thought they saw a shadow. So I went up there to go debunk it naturally, and I watched the video the next morning. I didn't even know that showed up
The two ahead, yeah.
until I
Oh,
watched
wow.
it the next morning. Because I was like, let me see if they actually saw a shadow. Maybe I can catch some lights bouncing or something. Because light will show up in there a different way too.
Sure.
Because it's warmer. So,
Okay.
because it's a different temperature.
Okay.
So, have fun.
Perfect.
Let me follow up with the rest.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Chat if your guys' ear off.
No, you're good.
No, that's great.
Point it at the light. I want to see what it looks like with the light. He said it's warm. Like,
Yeah, we're definitely like warmer. Yeah. So we just walk on together then?
yeah, you just gotta tell me if you see something, and then I go
Well,
after.
the tough thing is like, those
The
are.
dark stuff.
Well,
dark
but I got to keep a person in there, right? So like, am I?
Well, you'd get closer. Like we just
you
walk
know,
around.
I'm just, you know.
The guy going back. He was like, "Who are you?" Like immediately, he's like going to the corner.
Are you serious? I love it. There's gonna be best friends on this tour. Oh,
Or somewhere over there,
Okay.
taking pictures of where it's getting.
okay. Anything over here?
Nick, is this considered hanging out on the EMF meter?
Let me see what we got. Get anything, Charlie?
Ghost.
I do see a little bit of a rhythm.
Oh, okay, so it's
So we are close to a building.
Amanda. Point the red light at it. Point the red light at it. Don't blind him though.
57. What's who's that?
50.
Something's hanging out.
But
Wait. Charlie,
wait.
show me where to go.
It says 50. Yours says 57. Mine says 50 still.
This is lower than mine.
By a lot?
Like, where am I going?
I don't know. Keep on going, I guess.
Like in or up?
Feel
Down?
a giraffe coming in from the barn right here. So that might be it.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like around there.
It says 45 on
The very bottom on the bottom.
45?
45.
Oh, you're below me then. I'm at 49, so you're good then. You're below me still.
I had one.
mean, you feel that draft? It's kind of right from there.
That'd be pretty fun.
Nothing.
Good catch. That's what we're looking for.
All right. What, we found something we were looking for?
A draft.
A draft. A draft horse. A draft horse. Good job. I love it. Somebody who listens. All right, Max, what are you getting on yours?
I'm asking where to go. You're like, yep, keep going. Keep going.
I can't see. Look at this. So I pointed that. You asked me
No,
with.
like, get me where the crosshairs are. See what I'm saying?
Yeah, and it's just straight. It's just one
I don't know if I
direction.
should go higher or lower.
No, you're thinking in the crosshair. I'm just like keep going. What did I tell you to do?
Perfect.
There's Mike.
In the bar. What kind of horse in the bar?
He just got hip hop on his.
Put it on YouTube.
Well, you're the same thing. You're also a woman. You're a human being. You're also alive.
When they always use the thermometer on me where I go.
Yeah, that's what Amanda has. Have Amanda.
They tell me I'm done.
That's Susan's time too. It's being so cold.
Yeah.
Kind of cold time.
Wow, it's nothing now, is it?
Yeah. So, for example, during the holidays,
Oh.
there it goes.
Oh.
Because I have these slowed down, what color is the barn? Rudolph, red-nosed reindeer.
Well, I need to keep it posting in, so you gotta stay by me. Or someone does. I gotta look at something. So yeah, let's keep it posting in.
All right, correct answer. Yeah, let's move on. So that's kind of like that's why they're slowed down. So we can catch that one specific word out of the phrase if it's going to be that long. All right, everybody got a
Run
gist of
back
how the
here.
devices work? You guys ready to learn some real history? Yeah.
Just walk around a parking lot.
We paid money for that.
It's smart.
This is big time.
Okay, that bar up there, or whatever that is, looks really cool.
Point at that. Let's go up there.
I'll point my temperature gun at the fire.
Distracted by the fire up there.
Yeah.
The ghost that I'm trying to.
We're looking for thermal energy sources. Oh yeah. Oh wow. Yeah. You're breathing heavily there, sir. Here, put your like hand in like a sleeve like this. And
Nope.
keep your hand warm.
Nope.
Places will go.
You're a big parking lot guy, aren't you?
Oh, my bad.
So I will tell you, based on just being the newcomer to being a tour guide here in Charleston, I do my best to stay out of all of the other tours' way. And again, they're going to take you sightseeing. So with my particular tours, I did a lot of research to make sure the places I'm taking you to have historical value, and that they were actual haunted places. So I investigated them first. Like there a lot of time when it's planned. So yes, parking lots are a big deal. So welcome to, you guys are in for a treat because the parking lot over here is never this empty, so we got a little bit more room to play with. So welcome to the Eliza and Charles Pinckney Mansion site. So who the heck were they? By the way, hot hands and gloves are the best invention ever. So I have hot hands in
very
here,
good
so
stuff.
my hands don't get all crazy. Carpal tunnel's coming, the writer who writes 90 words a minute. Yeah, gotta keep them warm. So anyway, Eliza and Charles Pinckney had a son named Charles and they had a nephew named Charles. The son and the nephew were signers of our Constitution. So again, historical value. I hate politics. We just got out of an election. Let's move on. So Eliza's way more fun and she's way more, to me, important because she did so much more for the colonies than the two Charles did just by signing a sheet of paper. So Eliza married Charles at a very young age. You spirit box people, that's a good question. So kind of keep that in mind. I'm not going to give you the answer. So Eliza's father was dying over in England and she didn't want to go home. He wanted all of his kids home because he thought he was going to be dead soon. She didn't believe him, she didn't go. So she got married. It didn't give her citizenship, but it pretty much solidified her stay right here in the States. Remember, this is colonial times, 1750s, 1760s. So again, there was no citizenship just yet. So anyway, she was right. Dad got better. He started sending her gifts over from England. So the layout of the land, real quick. Mansion in the front, Eliza's garden over there, and moved over this way, and we are standing in what would have been the slave quarters, or the servant quarters. So there would have been both on site. So, with that said, some of those gifts that Dad sent over, a lot of them were plants. One of them happened to be the plant indigo. So you guys have been driving around for at least a day or so, I'd imagine. You've probably seen the word indigo a few times. It's a big deal here. indigo is a plant that makes blue dye that makes our blue jeans blue. Some of you are wearing it tonight. We still use it today that way. It's
Finally.
very expensive. At least it was way expensive back in the colonial times. So, with that said, that plant started right here. We already had a history of indigo in Charleston with our Gullah culture. If you guys took any other tours, like say a Milton Place and things like that, you would have heard about the Gullah culture. These were slaves that came straight over from Africa, and they knew how to cultivate this plant in our very weird temperatures, because obviously Africa is way warmer than us. So they were able to keep that plant alive for Eliza, and then she starts using Dad's contacts overseas to sell it to his partners all over the world, thus saving the plantation, or the colonies from the rice plantations that were going downhill. So we had a new cash crop, and Eliza Pinckney was the one who pretty much started that. I also want you to keep in mind colonial times. There's no such thing as a businesswoman. So the fact that a female did this in the 1750s and 60s is a huge deal for Charleston. Now,
Women History Month?
there's a couple of weird facts about Eliza you guys can ask here, and I'm barely touching the history that Eliza has done for us, but I want you guys to have some fun. So we're going to be kind of done with the history. I'm going to give you some weird questions that you guys can ask. Eliza was the second wife named Eliza from Charles. So both Elizas went by their maiden name, Eliza blank Pinckney. It's not middle name, their maiden name before they were married. So they both start with L. That's all I'm going to tell you. So there's one good question. You can ask anything you want to about Eliza's death. How old she was, where did she die, where did she die from, where is she buried, and which U.S. president was a pallbearer at her funeral.
Oh.
If that tells you how important she was, it was an honor for both of them, even though Eliza was no longer with us. So, you can ask what happened to the mansion. That's always a great question. You can ask how many children she had. That's always an interesting answer, and I'll explain why later. Please do not dive into the children's lives. There is a tragedy involved. Your activity will stop if we have too many folks at that tragedy, okay? And that's not a joke. You will ruin the tour for everybody, because the rest of the activity throughout stops. I don't know why. It's like Eliza is queen of everything down there. So,
You just got a thing that said critical.
capital.
Oh, capital?
Capital. We'll take it.
I need my glasses.
They didn't say dime when you're talking about business, though. Oh, that's pretty cool.
If you're going to ask questions back in this area pertaining to the slaves and the servants, I can't verify it. Just so you know, I can't verify names. I can't verify what their jobs were. I can't verify any of that thing because there's no record of it. There's a few names scattered throughout her letters from time to time, but nothing I can truly verify and say, hey, it was David. I can't do that. Things that happen up there, I can verify. All of that has been pretty much documented through all of them. If you want to try to get Charles involved, the husband, ask him to put his name through the spirit boxes, or ask him to show his name on the box that you're using. Also keep in mind, these people are from colonial times. They don't know what a device or a spirit box or anything is. The box with the light. Tell them what color the light is on your box. You guys obviously don't have one. Just say this black box. You guys obviously show yourself in the screen. You have a box with blue light, and there's a box with a red light. Like, it's that simple. Try to keep it as it's not TV. Please come to the Eddy meter if you're here. Like, no, they don't know what all that stuff is. These people have been dead for 300 years. So let's try to keep it simple for them. And again, you might get answers of stuff you asked over there. Sometimes things take time. So kind of keep that in mind as well. This is another place where I'm going to bounce around with all of you. I'm going to kind of take a breather from the mask. I know I had it off through a lot of that story, but talking quickly doesn't really work well for me on the mask. So I'm going to let you guys explore, have some fun with it. Max, you guys can, like, definitely need to have it up a little bit so you guys can hear. But it's a little bit more open here. Turn up that spirit box, listen in, see what you got. I like to see where everybody goes to because there are hot spots in this area. Follow us, guys. Some pictures.
Yeah.
Really?
Which means, or maybe I can't.
Matching.
I can't. Yeah.
Matching,
Definitely.
matching.
I would go with probably.
What is your name?
That's funny. I love this guy. Let's give him a look.
How old were you?
I low key want. I trust him. Follow him. He is the chosen one.
He's really warm.
Yeah, he comparatively he is. But
He's very warm.
I'm a vapor. So you guys see smoke coming through. Sorry.
There's a fire.
oh.
What? What do you see?
He was saying things. I don't know. It seems like he has something going on.
We can keep moving.
No, he's the chosen one.
He's what about your dad? Your dad's maybe
Like-
it's good stuff over there. Or your brother?
Wait. It's a box.
What? What box?
Shouldn't that be a box? Should it be a circle?
No, you want it as a
But
square.
the time's paused. Hey, quick question. We may have messed up.
What'd you do?
We got a square there? 'Cause the time's not going
No,
anymore.
remember?
Don't worry about
Circle
the time.
jerk.
Time
Circle
doesn't matter?
jerk.
I'll make you
Oh, I like
it. Square is good. I
can't use it, but I like it. That's funny.
Why is that? Why is that?
Remember he called you, if it turns into a circle, you're a jerk. And I was like, circle jerk.
My box keeps telling me things
Oh?
about noise and instrument when the music started up there.
Over there?
Oh.
Yeah,
Oh.
it's talking about pulsing and noises and instruments.
All right, we'll aim the
You
camera.
want me to point it that way? Well, what am I doing here? Oh, her thing's freaking out.
Point it at her.
Over there? I'm pointing at you just in case.
I'll go eat you first so I can run away. It said that would be ecological.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Oh.
I don't know if they had that word back in colonial times.
Okay.
I'll take it.
Oh, he has something over there. We're going over here now. What does he have?
He's walking around with the...
He definitely is a gun.
What? Oh, I don't know.
I like it. It's comfy. Okay, you have to ask questions. What are your questions, Dad?
Oh.
Okay, Mama's questions. We're
What
good.
happened to your mansion?
Why'd you ask it like that?
I don't know.
There's so much glass in the parking lot.
What?
I don't think that's because of them. I don't think they have a thing on that.
Where was your garden?
Right.
How big was your garden?
You have a lot of
What is your favorite
indigo
plant?
clothes.
Yeah. What was your favorite color?
Why did you leave England?
Who
Ooh.
was at... Wait. no,
What president was at your funeral?
I know.
Come up on the thermal imaging.
That's crazy.
There's 5 pieces that a word can come
Oh, the blue behind it.
something else.
Is that the card? What's the card?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, and exactly. But even when it's down on mute,
So everybody
I
here...
feel like this is very difficult to like actually see something in real time.
we go help the other
Oh, like to see it later.
So, Liza,
Oh.
how many children did you have? What'd you get killed by? Don't talk to the moms. They're right out here. They can hear you.
That's who was like, oh, these are jeans and the guy that I was like...
I'm having a great time. This is fun.
Do you realize, like, if anyone's at the bar right now, they're like, who are these people wandering around?
There's like a lot. Ready for it.
Stick 'em up!
Name 4 brothers. That's not funny.
I hate you. What is that? That, like, thing? The sign. Oh, it's a sign.
Liza.
Let's keep on.
Name the queen of Alpha Tau Omega.
Joining by. Is this like 45? Good one.
I'll see if my dad knows. That's gonna be a good time. Sure.
Look at a child. So you're gonna let her out quick. Hysterical.
Dad, we asked the ghost if it could name 4 brothers and it said no. We're gonna see if it comes to the party. It said name 4 brothers.
4 brothers?
What is the queen of Alpha Tau Omega?
You need temperature changes?
Nothing
Do you
crazy.
get the... Oh, wait.
It's also
They were
very
out for
hard-
a smoking break.
Also very hard to tell.
Wow.
Alright, what are we catching here?
Not much.
So,
Hands are this
So
way.
with your pictures, again, it's not about being on the ground the way you have it faced. It's about being this way, so it goes to right. Yep. And a lot of times what I tell my people is if you can hold it with one hand, and that way it could be perfectly perpendicular with the ground.
So what's your goal?
What's the word? Perpendicular, yeah. So that way you're not
I
getting
wonder
just
why.
the red squares on it. I'm really looking for stuff to go through with. Right. See how his hand just came through? And it's like it's not gonna come through and say, hey, here I am, take a picture. Like it's literally gonna be like this. It's gonna be that big. So that's why I say take as many pictures as you can, because a lot of times it comes out as a V. It's the alien being abducted, right? So it's gonna be smaller up here. So if we catch it right there, that's why I say try to capture as much of this as you can.
Okay.
That's a big deal. Especially you guys. Because it's questionable.
Liza, how did you make
And my wife does all of the photography work and graphic design stuff.
I feel like if something happens, it's gonna be on him. I feel like he's my person of interest. Oh, Southstar? Southstar?
I'm hungry.
So, is that her something? Yeah, I got that one.
I see. I see.
Oh, focus on it. What's going on? So closer.
I know, like the video you had it was so clear. Maybe it's because we're further away. Like, yeah.
Yeah, it must have really been like there.
Yeah, I guess.
What I look
Because, like, you could tell that, like, lady's wearing like a skirt or shorts because her legs were like.
Yeah, that was crazy though. The little Bobby Head boys.
It's not, and the handle is over here, based on the trajectory.
I wonder if also because it's coming through a filter, then maybe it's saving on higher quality camera like film
Yeah.
than you're seeing on this.
Yep.
You're here.
Yeah.
Chris.
He's also right now.
Yeah, I get this stuff all.
I think you're Phil baby guy.
Got him.
I got you. What's coming out?
The man that wanted me to film the smoker, so I did.
Huh?
The smoker.
I got you so good.
What happened?
I was like, Charlie, let's see if we can pick up something back there. This guy taking a smoke break, and Charlie just turns around, he's standing like this. And I go, it looks like you're filming the guy. And then he got really embarrassed and walks away.
You're putting him on TikTok.
I asked the
He
ghost
was
to name
just
4
standing-
brothers, and the ghost cannot name 4 brothers. Therefore, the ghost cannot come in.
We got the color blue.
Yeah, we got the color blue in 24.
Well, Indigo is
Football number?
blue.
Football number? Football number? Remember he mentioned numbers of players that play with that guy? Tell him, make sure he knows.
Yeah.
What'd he say? What'd he say?
Did you get anything?
Ah.
Hey, we're and 24. 24, 24. 24. The little,
21?
no, 20. No, 24. The little baby song. You were 21. 21. Yeah.
No.
No?
21?
21. Oh. sorry.
What's after? Was it like what's after?
No,
22?
it was 9 plus 10.
Oh yeah. What's that?
Yeah, you stupid.
21.
Yeah. Damn, like, you don't got any heat in your midsection. Your tummy's cold.
What room of the house is it?
Oh, yes, Eliza, what happened to the mansion?
Record.
Anything funny on the camera? Look at him like he's got his photographer.
I'm ready.
hat going.
I'm ready.
We got the color blue.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Was it a direct answer, or was it just blue that came
You
up?
asked what color her bedroom was, but
I can
yeah,
probably look
I don't
into
know
it.
if you can confirm it.
Well, I know that Harriet, the daughter, she actually wrote a lot about the house. And
No, I told you wear clothes.
Oh, he's on something.
It would be cool. I'll have to do a little bit of digging, but I'll see what I can.
He said he's close to something.
Yeah, that's what we thought of right away. Someone else asked.
I love it. They're just so good girls.
You kind of fucked out here.
What do you mean? My job? Just to supervise yours?
Sounds about right. It's about normal for us. Anything?
something.
Come in peace. There's Long Impossible.
Oh gosh.
Not okay?
This wasn't even just Star Trek.
I never watched it. I just know it. I'm on data all the time.
You see anything? See anything?
Oh boy, why you see a picture was like.
Because he has one picture of the ground. That's what I said. He made a big deal about it.
Take a picture of you.
It's like a 90-degree angle.
I'm recording.
Oh god. Peter and Bridget got an answer. I'm laughing so hard because
What's your favorite shoe? What's your favorite tennis shoe?
should I buy the boots?
Just start screaming yes.
Only if they're indigo.
Only if they're indigo, yeah.
Yeah, true.
Boots time? Boots time?
Boots what?
You didn't hear what she said? She said to ask the ghost if you could buy your boots.
Oh my gosh. I love it. I love it. Please say yes. Please say yes.
I'm kind of losing my magic
Ask me.
powers.
I'd be dying. Are you twisting the top of
Maybe
it?
you have to get closer to the
Like,
ground.
did you twist it? If you twisted the wrong way, you might be pulling it out.
Or you're holding it too high off the ground.
No,
It's a laser. You can go to the moon and back with these things.
Well, I
Yeah.
don't know.
it's probably down. Did you twist it out too far? The battery might be touching the spring all
We
the
should
way.
find an alley cat. They would love this.
Yeah. Yeah.
What's another question?
Yeah, it's supposed to be. That's it's just like a little squish coming through.
Yeah, how long am I going to catch on the camera? We can't get look at time for that. He's going to be ready.
Well, you just got kind of shoot all the time. But he's kind of deep blasted.
What was your favorite room of the house?
Was it the butler with the knife? What room was the butler in?
You can't ask yes or no.
It's a clue. That was a joke.
I love the game Clue.
You missed the complete joke.
I know. I was like imagining it.
You're like way too serious about this.
I'll tell what my goals are.
You don't want to spill the beans.
Yeah, you're good. You're good. All right, let me see.
How
if
many rooms in your mansion?
We have not
getting
seen anything yet.
weird, crazy,
Nothing insane, no.
nothing.
Not that we've noticed.
Okay.
No.
So the corner that I showed you is up there.
Cool.
That's where I told you. Like I showed you guys that video.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, is it behind that wall over there?
Yep.
Oh.
Where you see where the pillar comes up?
Yep.
There's a little lamppost at the top. That's the two dead people.
You can walk.
on the other side of the
Dad,
let's see if we can find
Dad, walk over here. We need you over here. We saw ghost people on the video. You said no, all the way over there. Go to the corner. Get in the corner.
There's a dead body.
They are very confused. They just turned the back.
Wait, no. How many rooms?
Wait, what if it works? This is where they were. Mike, stay around here. Stay around here. This is where we.
There's temperature difference?
No, but he said that he showed us a video, and this is the corner where we saw two ghost heads.
Where-
Focus.
Where was the garden?
Oh, we're seeing a little woman over there. That's probably car lights. Yeah, it's the cars in the street.
Who sent you?
Where are they? Car.
Oh, we're filming the same wall.
Well, yeah.
What if they're in the tree? Like, it's filmed in the tree.
Well, I can't. We need a person. Mike, walk by the tree.
Like that.
Walk towards the tree. Oh, there we go. Yeah, Amanda. I need a human in the film at all time.
Got anything?
I know. You should. That's the video you showed us. It's kind of cool.
Did you see like a different temperature or what?
What he showed us?
Yeah.
No, you can see two heads.
Yeah, there was like two dead people walking on the other side of this wall here.
Really?
Yeah, in his video.
That's why we came over here. Recreation.
Okay.
Was this tree here? No, that's
Turn on,
yes or
turn
no.
on, turn on.
What room am I standing in your mansion?
Well, you guys look like a question master.
How many slaves were in your household?
Why didn't you want to go back to England?
Yes.
The real questions. The hard hitters. Tonight,
20 sisters.
in 60 minutes.
What kind of English tea? Do you like sugar in your tea?
How did you wear those long black dresses in the summertime?
I gotta get this foot cramp out. I gotta move around.
Okay.
I haven't toured in 2 days, so I'm like, I got a foot cramp. I took a few days off for the birthday. The wife said, "You're not working on your birthday." I'm like, come on.
Happy
Oh,
birthday!
thank you. I wasn't looking for that, but you guys can all guess my age. I'm not telling you. So, I'm a lot older than
the ghost.
Eliza, how old is Nick?
Ask the ghost.
Well, it was 24 was a number.
Oh,
Wow, you should be 24.
no. Well, they heard 24. But the funny thing is those digits are in my birthday. They're how old my age. So we'll say that.
They're helping us out.
Ah, damn you, Eliza. So, let's get you guys some answers. So Eliza was 70 years old when she died. 70 was the number we were looking for there. She died of what we know of as breast cancer. Kind of hard to guess with colonial times, so we're going off medical records. That was in Philadelphia. She was up there on business, went to the hospital, and died. That's also where she's buried. So, to answer all the question of why is this called Stories in the Cemetery, and we're not going to cemeteries, is because if you were dead, are you going to hang out when you're buried? The answer is likely no. You're going to go to the places you love, like your mansion.
It's the comfort we were talking about, places to live.
Look at that.
Mr. Klein's gonna
She's
hunt
listening.
Charles.
Thank you, Eliza. I apologize. Damn it.
That looks fine.
So her name was Eliza Lucas Pinckney. Lucas was the name we were looking for there,
gonna hunt
and Eliza Lamb was the insignificant first wife. Somebody caught it. I don't normally have somebody that catches what I just said. George Washington was our U.S. president. That was a pallbearer at her funeral. George Washington spent over a week here in Charleston. And you have to remember, he only had 13 colonies. He knew his governors pretty well. So guess what Charles's job was? Governor. So Eliza knew George pretty well. And I didn't even know that fact until I got the same EVP twice in 1 week of George Washington coming through one of the spirit boxes. I'm like, there's got to be a link here. Lo and behold, there's the link. He was a pallbearer at her funeral. So pretty cool stuff. The mansion did burn down in the fire of 1861. Now, when I say in the fire, that's because Charleston has had dozens of fires, and we named them all the fire of whatever year they occurred. So 1861's fire actually swept through quite a bit. So nobody caught on to or heard anything related to fire, but we'll normally hear smoke, flaming, anything dealing with a fire, which is really cool. And I think I did hear somebody ask what happened to the mansion once or twice. What other questions did I give? There were 4 children. One of them died in infancy. So sometimes I get the number 3, sometimes I get the number 4. The names of those kids, Thomas, George, Charles, and Harriet. George was the infant that did not make it. Now, I don't know if it's days or weeks because the birth and death month is the same. So I don't know if it was really within days or within weeks. So, but she did name George after her father over in England. So, and it wasn't when I heard the George Washington EVP that it was just George, because that would have made sense. I heard George Washington twice in 1 week. I haven't really heard much about that since. That was over 2 months ago. So again, just giving you questions that I've gotten the answers to. What other questions did you guys have that you may have heard some answers to? So you guys heard a few things. What did you guys hear?
Blue and 24.
Blue and 24. So Eliza was 22 when she got married. Charles would have been 45 at the time. So there's 23 years difference. So, but blue is obviously significant to indigo. So we're going to take that one. So good job on there. What words did you guys come up with that were significant that I kind of pointed out to you?
We had Urge twice, but we didn't really know what that was. We got Plant and Experimental. She like experimentally worked with plants.
Ecological.
Anything else? Capital wasn't built yet.
We got a Nick. That was about it.
They got my name over there,
Oh.
which is really cool. That usually happens. We don't know what came up on your pictures yet. Unfortunately, we won't know until tomorrow. And anything weird on your cameras?
Not really.
I don't think
Weird
so.
yet.
Not that we've
So,
noticed.
We didn't notice.
The cool thing is that video gets uploaded to YouTube, and then it goes over to my website, so all of your evidence is in one place, but you can watch it on your TV, which is how I do it when somebody says they saw something. So that way I can see in my big 50-inch what's actually there. So, again, about 2.5 hours, depending on what's there. So we're going to walk up East Bay Street about 4 blocks to our next haunted location. It is Lodge Alley. So Lodge Alley is a very interesting place. It's literally where we're going to be there very briefly because it is a quiet zone. But you guys have to see some cobblestone streets and learn a little bit about those history of those cobblestones. So Spirit Box folks, I want you guys listening for names. I'm not going to tell you which names or why, but kind of if you hear any names, let us know what they are, especially you guys since you're not being recorded. So kind of listening closely. EMF, where's the EMF meter? Ignore it on our way there. Parking meters the whole way up. So the electrical lines for that and the crosswalks are underneath the sidewalks. It will make it go off and make it go nuts the whole time. So you can kind of ignore it. Obviously keep an eye on that. Please keep filming. Absolutely no lasers on East Bay Street. However, name again. Maureen. I thought so. I didn't want to screw it up. So when we get to Lodge Alley, I'm going to have Maureen kind of come up with me first and have her take a few shots down the alley ahead of time. Just because I do get some weird light anomalies from time to time. So, and it's usually empty. It's Tuesday, and it's rainy and cold. Us Charlestonians, this is freezing to death. So nobody's out tonight. So, and we probably won't even run into other tours. The funny thing is, if you guys aren't taking other tours, but if we do see another one, they put their groups all the way up to 20. I won't do it. This is way more fun, isn't it? Just having a much smaller group and everybody's doing something. 20 people, you're not even going to be able to hear me. So you guys will see some of those groups maybe, depending. We'll see what brave people we have up. Let's take a hike up this way and see if we can go find.
I have no idea.
Huh?
You can figure out this with the point of voices.
1 step left, 3 down.
I've been just like talking about like my life, current podcast.
I've never seen a thermal video with time.
I think it's worth it. We can go like big podcasting right now. We can just start a podcast.
Maybe people like the comments so much that they'll
Yeah.
follow us.
Yeah, be like and comment, you
I
know.
like and comment, like and subscribe.
Yeah.
See time for
Please leave comments. I'll do the algorithm. And at 10,000 subscribers, we're doing a giveaway.
What would you name it? Like, instead of more plates, more dates, it'd be like more. We'll
Small.
get a play off of it. What?
It would be SNC small chest.
What's SNC?
Said name candidate. It's never fallen away. Never,
Kidding me right now?
never going to not bother me.
I don't know if they're giving out fines from the mask thing.
They said only if you're in different groups, though. They said mixed groups, though, because you get fined. So if it's me and you,
Oh, it's like a family, it's fine. But if you're with like people that aren't part of
yeah.
your
So
family.
I think it's trying to prevent like you going to like a public area
Yeah.
walking around that mask, but you can like walk with your family. I mean, that's better than some place that gives you a fine no matter what.
Yeah, walk your finger.
Also, we walked past a lot of cops. No one said anything.
Cops?
Yeah, there were a lot of cops on King Street. No one said anything to us. That's the lucky mix. But my mom said that was also pretty like, it's pretty quiet.
Oh.
We can go tomorrow though. I mean, it's raining. They started eating nuts. Again, I have no idea if this thing is important sound.
Oh, you hope it is. Look at this. This is cool. Very old bar. Do you think they must be ran in, took a shot, and
It's like 5 minutes of video. Just
Ripping.
just on YouTube, just like, oh my god, 12 shots in 2 minutes. Jesus Christ.
You want to see us get famous? We'll get famous.
You want to see paranormal activity? Watch this. It was like, there was like an 85% chance I was about to do it. I was so close. I was like, wait, my voice being recorded here.
Good, that's good.
Dude, that'd be really weird if I was on YouTube. And some guy just like, what?
That was just some retarded activity. That's paranormal activity. Watch this video.
Two people looking at like, what is this kid doing? I'm like holding the camera around like I'm like, I go. Peter, Peter, you're just looking at me in the car like, what are you doing?
What? You're filming our asses.
We know they're good.
And now you have hours of film to watch it on. Again, do you guys know?
Look at these people dressed up for
Did we film them? I got him. We got him.
Stopping our hoods like, hey, got $1?
This is odd. This is.
Filming in the dark too.
I really hope someone asks me. I will tell them everything. I'll still.
Wow, we know who's gonna spill the beans.
Ghosts.
If you're a POW,
Whoa.
I will tell them everything. You stick your hand up.
I was like wanting to compare by.
My favorite pastime, messing with my. What did? So you look like a 10-year-old walking to school.
What?
So you look like a 10-year-old walking to school.
Yeah, this is cobblestone for the house. It's great.
You're just looking straight down. Oh, then picture.
Get you guys on that other side.
Oh,
We're only going
I
to be
got
here
you,
for
I
a
got
few
you.
short minutes. This is a hotel on that side, so these are going to be very quiet and brief. So this is why we're now inside the original Charlestown walls. So Charleston used to be called Charlestown. So when we crossed that last crosswalk, that was where the Charlestown wall came up, and we're going to go back over there. So this would have been one of the first streets that we had here. Keep in mind, if you pictured the peninsula of Charleston in your brain, the outer edges is all man-made crap that we have now. They didn't have that back in the original 1700s. So the smell of low tide would have been coming in real bad up here. So low tide is a horrible smell. You guys are all northerners or westerners or wherever you came from. Low tide is bad. Horrible. So these people down here would have been considered lower class. They found that out by doing some of the archaeological digs in between these clay bricks. Okay, so they found clothing and tools and little pieces of silverware. They were lower class. However, I do have a full list of people of every person that ever used to live in this alley. This used to be a street. So there wasn't many houses here, but they were very small. So when I get names, did you guys hear any names? Spirit box folks? No? I normally get Benjamin and John. Benjamin and John, even though there were 4 different Johns that lived here in the 100-year span that this is where people lived, Benjamin and John together, there was only 5 people that lived here in 1801. 2 of them were Benjamin and John. Cool thing is I also have their occupations. So I can always tell if they're a mariner, grocer, seamstress. Seamstress, of course, is code word for a prostitute. but it is what it is.
There's a John right there.
So I normally don't like to tell you those suggestive things ahead of time. It's kind of like me telling you that your nose is itchy, and now all of a sudden you guys are all scratching your nose. It's the same principle about the red barn as well. Look, he's trying. He's like, I got an N95 there. But at any rate, these clay bricks you're walking on, these are original. So they're handmade, hand laid. None of them are the same shape or size, and none of them are laid spaced properly either. So just kind of keep that in mind. They do get very slippery in the rain, as it is raining on us. So, the Masons also used to meet down here, which is also a nice little tidbit of fact, but there's not a whole lot of data of what they discussed. So I can't really prove it, just a fun fact. So, I see a little bit of a yawn. I'm getting there. So, we are going to go through the rest of this alley, but we're going to be in a neighborhood. Tour guides are not allowed to be tour guides in neighborhoods, so we're just going to be passing through quietly. No lasers, no loud spirit boxes, until we get to our next portion, which will be your legends and lore. There's a couple of stories that you guys should know about Charleston up there. So, as we leave, Maureen's going to take some more pictures. You were first one in, you're going to be last one out. So you're going to take a few pictures, empty alley going this way. Hopefully we capture a few light anomalies. I do get quite a bit in this alley. So it's a lot of fun when I say take 2, 3, 5, I don't care how many you take, just grab a bunch.
And was there a duel in this alley or something?
That's the next one. And I'll kind of give the quick story of that, only because tour guides aren't allowed to go down that alley anymore.
Really?
Yeah. Let's just say I made the new neighbor really angry and ruined it for all tour guides in town.
Oh.
With my noisy spirit boxes and all that stuff, everybody talking about the duel. So he got really angry with me and kind of and he's new to town, so he didn't realize it was a big historical piece of property. It is gorgeous, and we're gonna pass by it, and I'll point it out and go like this so everybody can see which alley it is. It is the most beautiful spot we have in Charleston.
All right, can you tell us before we get there about it, before we walk through the thing? Tell us about the duel before we get there, will you?
So the duel, I normally tell the story afterwards, so we're not here so long, but that's okay. So the duel is very simple. There was a gentleman, he was a doctor up in New Jersey, supposed to be coming down here because he was going to get married to a young lady named Amanda. Don't we have an Amanda? So Amanda just inherited a bunch of money from her deceased parents, and the attorney didn't want her to get married, so send the doctor away. So the doctor moved to Charleston. The coachman that brings him into town set him up to be robbed and killed. He sent him to a very bad place. Somebody walking by, seeing what was happening. He was an attorney here in town. His name was Ralph Isaacs. So Ralph says, you don't want to stay here, let me take you somewhere safe. He takes him to 59 Church Street, which is, we're going to go up to Church Street, but it's about a mile from here or so. So anyway, the two become friends, and the doctor, his practice is doing pretty well. He becomes known as the Whistling Doctor. He's making lots of money, Amanda's moving down soon. Everybody calls him the Whistling Doctor. Him and Ralph used to go see plays together, but they're not in the same hierarchy anymore, because the doctor makes more money, so the doctor gets better seats. So they have to talk about these plays on the way home. So they're talking about William III one night. The doctor loves the new actress. Ralph does not. They start arguing. Ralph insults the doctor's fiance back home. Obviously, they get very angry with each other, so they're separate ways. Now, Ralph is from here, so he has ties to the newspaper. So he contacts the newspaper and puts an ad in the paper and says what a disgrace the doctor is to the city of Charleston. Not very cool, right? The doctor sees it. His rebuttal is, let's go to Dueler's Alley. Let's go settle this. Most duels do not end in death. Don't take that misnomer of everybody dies. So, two take their 20 paces, they turn, the doctor points his gun in the air, and he shoots. He did not want to kill his friend, he just wanted to make a point. Ralph takes one shot on the kneecap. The doctor drops. He didn't die, but his friends picked him up and carried him home to 59 Church Street, where he died 10 days later. The doctor couldn't even heal himself in the 1800s. So, the story goes, you can hear the whistles from the doctor as you walk through the alley. You can also hear the gunshots as you walk through the alley. Have I caught whistles? A few. Not a whole lot. Have I heard things about a doctor? Yes. Have I seen Ralph's name come up? Often. Is there a lot that goes on in that alley paranormally wise? Yes. A lot. So am I very sad that I can't take you there? Yes. It is a great alley, and again, it's gorgeous. It's perfect for pictures. So, as we walk by it, just when I point to the left, you'll see, just imagine two guys going 20 paces, turning, one of them shooting in the air. There's your doctor. So, but good point bringing up that story. It's sad to tell it over here.
I'm trying to walk behind my phone. Yeah, that's probably why he has longer hair, because he definitely probably just graduated. That makes the most sense.
Is that how you wear it with your first SPS? You're really quiet?
Uh,
I know it's different for like, you know, but
yeah, different.
just thought I'd ask.
I don't know. I was just like quick to respond, but I wasn't like giving out.
Elaborate on things.
Yeah. It didn't last that long though. It's just different kind of thing.
We wait for,
Oh, them? Oh, they're still back there.
yeah, get some pictures. We'll wait for a second. Yeah, people live above here and little piece of the neighborhood.
Hear anything, Peter?
This guy gotta show us some kind of cobblestones, right? Yeah. Can I put some cobblestone? Let's see, so what topic we can talk about the map? That's pretty identifiable with the bag. And I'm leading the way. Those people over here don't really care as long as, you know, they fly on by. That's that hotel that we were all in on. That's all the hotel.
I stayed at the Haunted Hotel in Rhode Island.
Every hotel down here
And it
has a
felt
plane
very
logo.
scary.
I feel like if you come into a place like that and you get like, do they like decorate it that way kind of too?
It's just very old.
Oh,
And I was
like
also,
creaky and stuff.
I was in the hotel where they filmed The Shining.
Oh, Jesus.
That was
Christ.
also very weird.
Yeah, just not. I feel like it's that like connotation even going there. You just like, even in the back of your head, and kind of like,
Well, Christina took pictures when she was at the hotel, and she thinks she caught stuff on them.
like what?
Like she said, like it's weird. There's a shadow where it's literally a guy with a top hat.
What?
Like you can clearly see them.
That
Very
is
weird.
that is really scary.
Yeah.
So you believing it?
It's interesting.
I'm just a good question. So it's a yes.
Not on our podcast.
That's
We're
a
not
yes.
having it on our podcast.
It is. You just don't want to admit it.
Do you know, sir? Do you know?
Creates energy, you're saying. Yes. It can be consumed and used.
Okay.
Not sure of that.
Do you walk
Again, I
in
don't
there
watch that
because
very often.
you're not a doctor? If they're fighting to be a doctor, you will see a name. And that's why you shot him.
No idea. But they did it with
That's a bug. Tell me it's not. Hank was saying me dumb after I was saying, I told him he loved that one. And Hank was geeked about it. That was hilarious.
Words being said backwards. And then if something comes through in forward motion, like I use one on my phone from time to time. It hasn't been very active for me lately. Like writing music.
The only show I watched I thought was kind of interesting was the one with that Katrina and Nick do where they do the 72-hour lockdown.
Yeah. Nick was actually part of that group.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought they did some interesting things. But I can't ever, you never know.
Well, I
Right?
don't know. I feel like I'm recording. I feel like I see something cool here.
That's funny. I like that. You're being
Part of
creative.
the reason why I wanted to do this, so you guys can see what it's really like. And I know you're only 90 minutes, 2 hours, but still, you get a piece of it. You know, them guys are spending weeks there. That one location.
And then they cherry pick their best stuff and throw it out there.
Yep, exactly. So I'm going to stop us here for a second, just make sure we got everybody. What's that?
Sorry, Charlie.
See that doorway over there? I told you guys about the duels. That's Dueler's Alley. It's now called Philadelphia Alley. If you don't remember that, that's where Eliza Pinckney died.
That doorway right there?
Yep, that doorway way over there. So in the event that there was a death, and somebody actually got shot and was killed, they would come through that door, over this courtyard, over to St. Philip's Cemetery, where they would drop the body and then go celebrate the living. Nobody ever talks about why that doorway's there.
Wow.
It's original. So, very cool stop. Again, I just wanted to get a quick head count, make sure we were all still good. We are going to go up to the church. I'm going to tell you a quick, this is part of your legends and lore now. So if we get stuff that's related to it, awesome. I do have, obviously, links to be able to verify the stuff that we're getting. But I do want to show you guys a sign. It's just inside this cemetery up here.
Oh, cemetery.
I'm in the middle.
All right.
Different angle.
Different angles.
Do you have
You
do you
Instagram
have anything?
model?
No?
No, that's how the scene's in here. If you want to look at it, because it's just,
I'm
really-
good.
And you can hold it for us too if you like.
Oh no. Somebody can want to buy something like that.
For deer hunting, yeah.
Coyotes.
Oh.
that makes sense.
Beside this wrought iron gate, there's a sign that says the only ghost of St. Philip's is the Holy Ghost. There's a reason for that. Of course, there's a story behind it. We all have one. So, 1888, there was a young lady named Sue Howard Hardy. Sue died 10 days after her stillborn child. 1987, we have a local photographer in town taking pictures of all of our beautiful cemeteries, and he captures a full apparition just over that grave. It's a woman wearing a shawl and a baby basket next to her. It's 1987. We didn't have cell phones. We didn't have Photoshop. You can't make this stuff up. He sends it to Kodak. I don't think there's anybody young enough here where I have to explain what Kodak is. So, oh man, he's listening. He's not even paying attention to the next story. He's listening for it. So Kodak can't debunk the picture. If you want to look up the picture on your own, that's your prerogative. Her name was Sue Howard Hardy. If you plug that name into Google, it'll pop right up for you. The picture's cursed. It's a beautiful picture for paranormal investigators like me that want to study it. But females that hold it will start to have the same symptoms I told you about back at Big John's. Nauseous, dizzy, that whole 9 yards. Pregnant ladies holding it will not have a good pregnancy. I'm not getting a phone call 9 months from now. Somebody had a good time on their vacation, and all of a sudden they're in pain. That's going to be me. I'm not going to be that guy. So I'm going to look it up. You have the name on recording, and you can look it up for yourself. I also want you guys to know this is St. Philip's Steeple. It's the tallest one we have here in Charleston. It is slightly lean. Why? Big earthquake, 1886. So just by a hair, it is off. This is also now Church Street, the same street I told you about where the doctor lived. He lived about a mile down that way. This is called Church Street now. If you look at this on an overhead view, like on Google Maps, the road goes directly around the church and then picks right back up on the other side. It's a half moon shape. This used to be Duck Street. And we're going to talk about Duck Street Theater once we cross the street, but I do want you to kind of notice there are two sides of the cemetery. This side is for our native Charlestonians only. Everybody else, they get thrown over there. John Calhoun, Vice President, is buried over there. He was moved 3 times as they try to figure out if he was actually from here or not. Well, he's not, so they threw him over there. You can actually go visit his sarcophagus during the daytime. That cemetery is open. This side they've been renovating for at least a year that I know of, so you can't visit this side. But yeah, you can go visit the other side and see Calhoun's sarcophagus. It's above ground. It's a pretty cool sight. They did take down his statue over in Marion Square, and they just released a time capsule with a lock of John Calhoun's hair in there, a cannonball from the Revolutionary War, and some paperwork that I haven't been able to read yet. So they just literally unveiled that 2 days ago. So if you can imagine, that caught my interest pretty quickly, especially since they tore down an 85-foot monument that was down here. It's giant. So before we cross the street, can everybody see just past that cemetery? There's a gas lamp. So everybody might have to come up here a little bit. I just want to point out a location. This gas lamp is kind of flashing up in there. Oh yeah. Okay, that's the Pirate House. We're gonna go talk about that right now. So we're gonna go over this. That's the neighborhood.
So I took that photo later. The one that apparition kind of vibe.
What?
I want to see what it looks like. Females do. Females do. I'm not a female.
Yeah, so if you want to look it up, feel free. That's kind of weird that you would say that.
It's kind of.
I'm fine, I'm fine.
Guess the kid probably why he said that though.
Oh.
You know what I'm saying?
Alright, on the other side, obviously the other side of the cemetery, but we are going to kind of stay focused on that corner lot where we were. And the reason why I moved this over here is because this whole corner is very popular among tours, ghost tours, and I don't like to be in people's way, as I told you guys before. So somebody, if there is another tour out, they're going to go up to that church because everybody tells that Sue Howard Hardy story, and they all show the picture. So I'm not that guy. So let's tie some of these buildings together. So I told you that about the Pirate House and where that was, right? You can't miss it. It's actually got an anchor on the front of it, and somebody lives there. Don't go in his backyard, he gets pretty pissed. So I won't say that I know that from experience, wink, wink. So I'm just looking for evidence. So that is allegedly where Blackbeard's men would come off their ships, and they would meet up with some girls, have a few drinks, and they have a place to stay. Blackbeard
Across
never
the church.
What's that?
Across from the church.
Yeah,
What?
That was a flop house?
pretty much.
Okay.
And it's not very big. I want to say it's only about 500 square feet total. So it's a pretty small
Not
place.
bad, we'll travel, right?
Yeah, exactly. But here's a cool thing about the Pirates. They actually dug a tunnel underneath that house over to Dock Street, Dock Street Theater, which is exactly 1 block away from that particular location. So they dug it that far. And we know that that's true because they just filled it in the 1990s. So they literally just did this like 30 years ago. So pretty cool stuff. However, I like to tie all of that together with the Dock Street Theater and the St. Philip's steeple. So if you're a picture taker, by the way, this is a perfect shot. You get the full steeple. The moon is out of place, obviously, because of the clouds. But anyway, there was a young lady that actually worked at this church named Nettie Dickerson. Nettie wanted to go down and work at Planters Hotel, which is what Dock Street Theater used to be. It was a place of prostitution, but of course they masked it as a hotel. So she was past the marrying age of 17. Nobody wanted to marry this old maid at the age of 23. So she felt a little unwanted, but she's seen all the prostitution going on, so she went and bought a red dress, and she goes down there to get herself a job. And she's the best loved girl in the whole place. However, she's still not happy. So the priest goes down there to talk to her one night when she's out on the 2nd story balcony, pondering about coming back. And they're out there chit-chatting, and she's ready to come back. The storm rolls in. Lightning strikes the wrought iron banister that she's leaned on and kills her. Pretty abrupt story, I know. But the interesting thing is when you could see her ghost, you can only see her from the knees up. Why? Because when we renovated the Dock Street Theater, we raised the 1st floor ceiling. She's walking on the floor that she knows. So we had to figure out why we had this very short ghost with no hem on her dress. It took a nerd like me to kind of figure out the construction of the building. The other interesting thing about, and I'll just bring this up just because we're bringing up extra stuff anyway, and this might be also why we heard my name. Nicholas Trott was our first Chief Justice here in the United States, and his house is rumored to be right next to this building over here, which is what we're going to look at next. But he originally lived where Dock Street Theater sits right now. That's the interesting thing. His privy, the elevator shaft in the back of Dock Street Theater, was his private privy. So if you use that elevator, you're going where our first Chief Justice of the United States used to go to the bathroom. So if you smell anything funny, that's all on you. So very interesting, weird facts about Charleston and our misnomers of things, kind of like slave market. That big open market that we walked by, I'm sure you guys have all heard the term slave market by now, right? That's not where slaves were sold. Not even close. So the reason why it's called the slave market is because on the other end, we walked in the back end. The front end of it is an office. And when they came through the customs house, all of their paperwork went to that office. So that became known as the slave market. So very interesting, weird misnomer facts that our tourists don't really know about our slaves. So let's talk about, oh, there's another interesting thing about Dock Street Theater. You can also see Junius Booth there. He is the father of John Wilkes Booth, who shot Lincoln in a theater. So he's not from here, he didn't die here, he just was a traveling actor when it was an actual theater. So the funny thing is that it's the same time period when Edgar Allan Poe's mother was a child actress coming through town. And if you don't know about Edgar Allan Poe and the history of Charleston, there is a lot. Edgar Allan Poe was actually stationed in our army on Sullivan's Island under the name Edgar Perry. So if you go down to Sullivan's Island, you will see Poe's restaurant, the Poe Library, all of those things wrapped around Poe. The story of Annabelle Lee is true, and it is here. Annabelle Lee is buried in Unitarian Church, about half a mile inland from here. So the story there is that while Edgar was away at sea in the army, I don't understand that, but of course Annabelle died, and the father never approved of Edgar to begin with, so when she died from pneumonia, he buried 2 graves that were unmarked, so Edgar could not find her. If you walk through Unitarian Church, it's very overgrown and very garden-like, on purpose. They leave it that way. Unitarian Church and the Edgar Allan Poe Museum will not confirm that that story is true, that it's supposed to be entirely a fictitious poem, if you recall, if you're going back to your English history class, but nobody will confirm that it's true. But my wife and I have walked those gardens. There's a lot of unmarked graves that don't make any sense. So, and I have another tour guide friend. He takes his tours by there and tells the same story, and that's where his people will usually pass out if they're going to. It's right in front of that church. Let's get into one last investigation.
Okay.
Okay. I know. I told you guys I talk a lot. You got to shut me up. Okay. It's Power Magazine. The place where it looks like it has crosses on it. Those are actual earthquake bolts. Like I told you, we had that big earthquake in 1886. Earthquake bolts. The gist of that is that if a building gets quaked, they tighten up the bolts and the building goes back upright. Those are the very first earthquake bolts that we've had in Charleston, and they've been there ever since. So you'll see lots of buildings with them. I'll even point them out on the back of the apartment building. You can't really see them from here because they blend in. but you will see earthquake bolts on a lot of our older buildings. We haven't had an earthquake since. Now they're just a decorative commodity. So, but the powder magazine is our oldest government building on the East Coast. 1713 is when it was finished. What you see there is where the Charlestown walls came up. So I told you it came up Cumberland Street, so it came up all the way from East Bay, from the water, and then it went up one block past where the powder magazine is. That is 3 blocks away from the water. So in the event it got attacked, the sand in the roof from 1712 that is still there, and the 32-inch thick walls would help keep that blast contained into one small area and not destroy the wall around it. So it was built this far in on purpose. It has never been attacked. It has never held prisoners. Nobody ever died there. It's a very interesting place. It has served in 7 different wars. Gunpowder was moved. It wouldn't stay. It would start to finish. So during the Yamasee War, they would put it here for a month or so and then move it, so forth and so on, if that kind of gives you an idea. So why do I talk about this place and why do we need to investigate it? During the time that this was built, there was a young lady that moved here with her father from Ireland. Her name was Anne Cormack. She was the illegitimate child from her father's maid. So the father wanted to get away from the wife, and he brought his mistress and his daughter to Charleston. When they came here, this building was being built, and of course this is one of the few buildings we have from that time period. So this is why this ghost is tied to this building. What's so interesting about Anne Cormack is that when she became a teenager, we had pirates coming through town at that time. She fell in love with one of those pirates named James Bonney. James was not very well accepted by the father, as you can imagine. He's a pirate. But they ran away to Jamaica and got married anyway. James did not turn out to be the husband that she wanted him to be. He turned into a privateer, which basically meant that he was a spy for the British. She did not want to be part of that. Anne was pretty badass. She wanted to be a pirate. So she fell in love with another pirate. His name was Calico Jack. His real name was John Rackham, but everybody called him Calico Jack because he was very prestigious with his clothing. So Calico Jack had his own ship and she wanted to be part of it. So she dressed up like a man to be part of the ship. And of course the captain, Calico Jack, allowed her to be female in his quarters only. So of course Anne Bonney gets pregnant. And she's still married, by the way, to the other pirate. They just can't get divorced because he would not allow Calico Jack to pay off the dowry for her. That's how that went down. So she just had this big long affair. She gets pregnant. So what's Calico Jack do? He drops her off with friends in Cuba. We don't know what happened to the baby. There's a lot of holes in this story. She goes back to the ship as a female. She no longer cares about being female on a ship. Females on a pirate ship are supposed to be bad luck. So, during the time that she was in Cuba, allegedly giving birth to this baby, Calico Jack captured another ship. So she goes down and she's flirting with one of those prisoners. Calico Jack isn't paying any attention to her. Turns out that the person that she was flirting with was doing the exact same thing that she had to do to get part of Calico Jack's ship. This was a female, dressed like a male. They convinced this female, her name was Mary Reed, read like read a book, to become part of this crew. And she did. So her and Anne Bonney obviously became friends. Then the ship gets attacked, and all the other pirates are downstairs below deck, drunk, watching the prisoners. So it was Anne Bonney and Mary Reed defending against the British. And what do you think happened? Obviously it got taken over. So all the pirates that were downstairs, prisoners or not, they all get tried and hung. That, by the way, that Chief Justice, his name was also Nicholas, just like Nicholas Trott here in Charleston. His name was Nicholas Laws. So, but then it comes Anne Bonney and Mary Reed's turn for trial, November 28th, 1720. They reveal that they're female. Well, they still get tried and for piracy, and they're convicted. However, they both did what they call plead their bellies, which means they both claimed that they were pregnant. So, their hanging is now delayed. Her dad, here in Charleston from Ireland, has Ireland money and is able to bail her out of the Jamaican jail. Allegedly, she lived to be 84, remarried again, and had many, many children. We don't know what all those details are. Mary Reed died from whatever pirates die from in a Jamaican prison. Put your imaginations to use. We don't know how long that was. Could have been 6 months, could have been a year, could have been 5 years. I have no idea. Nobody knows. Every story I read on this is different. So that's why I like to do this investigation. We're going to spend about 10 to 15 minutes here. I'm not going to give you questions. I gave you a lot of story with a lot of holes. Get me some answers. Find out what you want to find out. I think I've trained you long and hard enough over the past hour and a half to 2 hours of how to ask questions to a spirit box. Have you gotten anything?
I got a bunch of female names. I've gotten Sophia and Stella and Adeline.
Interesting. none of those make sense because Anne Bonny's mother's name was Mary. That was the maid, remember? So let's see what we can find here. This is the side of the building. If you want to go around to the front, the opening to the parking lot is there, and you make a left. Obviously, to go to up to the front of it. If you want to get some film on the thermal imaging camera, if you want to go ask questions up there, I'm going to let you guys kind of do your thing. Like I bounce around again, and we'll get this all party wrapped up. All right. Be careful with your lasers. Those are apartments, and people are up there. That's the only thing I have. Let's have some fun.
Dr. Mary's important to me. Give us an interview. Who are you? Where are you from? Mike, we can't figure out if this has sound. We don't know.
I do like pirates, man.
Phone. That's Mike. Mike, you want one?
Pirate?
Candy.
Pirate.
How is that a response?
You're just gonna film me eating? I'll eat. I'll feed you.
Like, I have to keep them in the camera, you said.
I know, but I'll go like this.
Not get out of the camera. Ooh, stop. Come on. You find ghost stuff.
Why are you laughing like that?
My back hurts. My back hurts from carrying this team.
Oh.
My point.
There's one more in there.
Calm as you were. As you were. As I
You
was.
look really creepy right now. Just follow me around the parking lot.
I got a choice here. What are you going to do with this? I got to face one on the camera.
World star.
Oh, give me the camera. Bam. I have more humans. Subjects. If you want to look here with me, see if you see anything. I don't see nothing though. See that wishball is kind of calling my name.
What?
Yeah, wishball is just kind of calling my name.
I know.
Bonnie, where were you from?
Do we see anything? Do we see anything?
Reed. Where were you from?
You haven't said anything in a while.
I'm not needed to, really.
Over here. Come over here.
What happened in
There's a lot of light over there. Which is... Yeah, this sounds good.
What?
This sounds good. I can find you.
A lot of artillery. Show you how the gunpowder was stored. Very interactive.
Let's go outside. Go here. We're going here.
No, film him again. Film him.
I know you can't go certain places because we got a group going and everything else. So what's your more good spot?
Like most haunted? Yeah. The old Provost is the top one. That's the old dungeon.
What's he doing there, bud?
Directing. Better tell him I'm ghost hunting. No, this is dope. Let's go over there. I'll get haunted there. Dude, fun people. Come on, keep on. Walk faster. I need to find out people. I can't just film you walking slowly. There we go. You're good now. You can walk slowly again. Action shot, action shot.
So funny.
Do I look like Predator?
I don't know.
Little bit?
I haven't seen Predator, so I can't answer the question.
Georgia.
I have to keep it human in the car all the time, he said.
So I asked how she died in Jamaica, and something about vitamin C came up.
Oh.
Scurvy.
Scurvy.
I asked why she became a pirate, and she said preference.
Preference?
I don't know.
I asked why the boys didn't like her.
Okay.
Oh, I hit a nerve there. Did you hear that?
Oh.
Okay.
I'll follow you. I feel like you hit a nerve. We're gonna see what happens.
So what happened to the baby?
The thermal.
That's all I need to think about. That was like.
Look. Damn boy.
Amanda's 5.
Sorry.
You can see butt cheeks at the most scam. It's hilarious.
Oh, that's rich. That's why you were behind us. I knew it. I literally knew it. Been there, done that. I'm just kidding.
That's a problem on its own.
That's so great.
You all.
Great job.
Dude, you to the right one point. I was just like,
You were what?
I see you just walking in the camera and close.
Oh, let's shut up.
Damn, boy. Why are we fucking sex?
You need to buy this one of these. It's your fun to walk off. What are you, thermal day?
Lack of vitamin C.
Yeah, scurvy. That's interesting. What did you guys see? Anything?
Nothing. We were following them around.
Other spirit box folks, what did you guys see?
I saw something big.
Baby. We'll take it.
Something.
What do you have on
I
yours?
just got courtroom and rap.
Courtroom. That was a big deal. The big trial of 1720. That makes sense. Good stuff, guys.
Where the women were hung, or the women were
That's
tried?
where they
or-
were tried
Okay.
in Jamaica. So Nicholas Laws, I always wait for Nick's name to show up here too because Nicholas Laws was the judge during that time. But I like the vitamin C thing. Like that's cool. That's where I get it.
I mean,
Like,
really, I asked as almost an immediate vitamin C. You know, just came right back. Right out.
Nice.
That was interesting.
I didn't know that. So that's scurvy.
Fun
Yeah.
fact, yeah.
I actually, when we were, this was last year, I had it's an EVP that said baked beans breakfast when we were at the Pinckney Mansion site. I had no idea that baked beans for breakfast was a thing in the UK.
Yes, it is.
I was so blind.
So when I went back to look at the data the next morning, that spirit box told me, I'll fix you. I got baked beans breakfast on a reverse spirit box, and then I had the word tea on the list. I'll fix you baked beans breakfast and tea, all within 3 minutes of each other.
Southern hospitality.
Yeah.
Wow.
And again, remember, Eliza helped serve George Washington's meals when he was here. So that would have been maybe possibly something she was showing.
I did ask why the boys didn't like her, and it kind of went a little crazy. I couldn't make anything out, but
Okay. I've been listening to, this is a new location, because again, I used to take people down Philadelphia Alley, and then I would take them down to the Bogner building, and they wouldn't get all those little legends and lore tales. So I've been really focused on the data for this location, like the last 15 to 18 minutes of all your stuff, I listened to intently. So like I especially watched the video and the spirit boxes and all that stuff. But you guys did awesome. Like there's a lot of stuff here. Like I love when I can get all the tools out. I mean, you guys might not, I mean, you don't do this every day. So, I mean, there's times where I have like one little thing that showed up on the word list. You know what I mean? And that's it. That's all that's there. But there's other times where like what you guys, that baby, vitamin C, you know, blue back at Indigo, you know, the Pinckney Mansion. So like this is a lot of stuff, guys. Like this is a lot, this is a good investigation. So we're gonna I'm gonna start collecting the devices. We're gonna let you run last because that's gonna run the longest.
okay.
So let's go ahead and start collecting them. You guys can start asking me a million questions if you want since I chatted your ears off. And we stay out of the rain.
Where are you from?
Yes. I know, right?
Thank you.
Thank you. This is another. I don't know how I'm gonna do the gloves in the summer. I might not.